You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of GHS-TV's award-winning talk show, Crosstalk. I'm your host, Jamaia Chase. Each week in this time slot, we take a look at different issues, personalities, and events that affect you and our community. In 1919, the first Armistice Day was celebrated on November 11th in honor of the ending of World War I. Later, the name was changed to Veterans Day and it became a national holiday in 1938. Now, in 2019, there are 18.2 million veterans in the U.S. With us today is P.Z. Horton III, the chairman of the board of directors at Alpha Omega Veteran Services, and retired Colonel Elmer Follis, a veteran of the Korean and Vietnam Wars. Colonel Follis and Mr. Horton, thank you both for being on the show with us today.
Thank you.
Glad to be here.
Mr. Horton, what is Alpha Omega Services and how do you support local veterans?
We're a nonprofit agency that supports homeless and disabled veterans. We have been in Memphis for 31 years and have assisted over 11,000 veterans return to society in a meaningful and secure manner.
Well, do you serve older or newer veterans, or is it all the same?
Well, it's not all the same, but we do have Vietnam veterans, and we also have veterans from Afghanistan and Iraq. So our age range is from mid-20s to over 80.
Well, Mr. Horton, in your opinion, what are some of the hardships that veterans may face?
Well, the hardships that our veterans at Alpha Omega have faced has been when they returned from their active duty is that they had problems with dealing with society. Some of them have drug issues, some of them have alcohol issues, a number of them have PTSD, a number of our Vietnam veterans have Agent Orange issues. And so all of those result in either physical or mental problems, and they are with us because they're not able to cope adequately in society. And so our job is to help them through on-site counseling, to help them get to the VA, to get their medical support, and to get them in a mode that they can return to society as an active member.
Well, Colonel Follis, can you tell us your story? Were you drafted into the Korean and Vietnam Wars, or did you go voluntarily?
Of course, voluntarily. I've flown 400 combat missions. 100 were flown in Korea, and 300 were flown in Vietnam. The difference between those two wars is like night and day. In Korea, I flew tactical reconnaissance, with primarily photo reconnaissance in unarmed aircraft. And we flew all the way up Mig Alley, all the way up to Manchuria, taking pictures where we had several encounters with enemy MiG airplanes, and you're unarmed. That's very, very touchy. We slept in tents, burned up in the summer, froze to death in the winter, slept on canvas cots, blown up in an air mattress, which was blown up by your Korean houseboy who just had a full lunch of kimchi. And the last thing you said when you said your prayers at night was, "Lord, please don't let me get an air leak in my air mattress tonight." You've never smelled kimchi. And like I say, the difference in when you go to Vietnam, I mean to missions in Vietnam, I slept in an air-conditioned trailer. I had my own toilet facilities. I have my private trailer all by myself there. And we had everything good to eat compared to Korea, which everything in Korea was powdered eggs, powdered milk, powdered this, everything. And in Vietnam was the best food I've ever eaten in my life. So the differences between the two. Now in Vietnam, I flew fighter missions in support of America's ground forces, both Army and Marines alike. And we really tried to do a good job because, you know, the average age of the American soldier in Vietnam was only 19. So you had teenagers fighting the war on the ground, most of them in Vietnam. So you wanted to make sure that you went in, so we supported them in close air support.
Well, taking a look back at your time in the military, what sticks out to you the most?
I think the thing that I'm most proud of is supporting the Army forces and the Marine forces in Vietnam. Like I said, they had a terrible time there fighting in the rice paddies and the jungles, and whenever they got in trouble, we went in and you know, supported them. Can I mention one thing here? One mission in Vietnam, we saved 900 people. On one mission, and to do that mission, we had to fly through a typhoon 4 times. Those 900 people came home. They had 4 children each, let's say. That's 3,600 children who would never have been born if we had not flown that mission in a typhoon in Vietnam. Every generation, you quadruple that number. And the number, I think, right now is up into 50, 60,000. And just think a few years from now, there will be millions of Americans walking the face of the earth who would never have ever been born if we hadn't flown that one mission in Vietnam.
Well, would you ever do it again?
Certainly, certainly. I'd do it again.
Well, Mr. Horton, Mr. Follis' story is very experiencing and exciting. Is his story like others, or all veteran stories the same?
All veteran stories are different. There are people that served the country and never left the continental United States. There are people that served the country and left the United States and never returned alive. And so every veteran story is different. Some people have had hardships. When I was in the military, I spent 31 years in the Air Force, and during my time, I never experienced combat. But at the same time, each of us did our portion to support what was the cause that we were fighting.
Can you tell us about some of your community events you host at Alpha Omega, such as the Military Masquerade?
So for Alpha Omega as a nonprofit agency, we need support from the community. And so we have 2 major events each year, a masquerade ball in the spring and then a golf tournament in the fall. We also get support from many businesses, churches, community organizations who come and they donate food or they donate clothes. Some of them like to come and cook a meal for our veterans. We have 6 facilities here in Memphis, and we normally house anywhere from 140 to 150 veterans.
Mr. Horton and Colonel Follis, thank you both for being on the show today, and thank you for your service to our country.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
When we come back, we'll dig deeper into a college program preparing men and women for the military.
GHS-TV started in 1982, and it was just a couple of cameras, a couple of on-air personality, and it's really grown into what you see today. It's a multi-million-dollar studio with top-of-the-line technology.
Being able to operate, all of the machinery in the control room, being able to use all of our software and hardware that we have around the studio is a great skill because this is top-of-the-line equipment.
I feel like this class has brightened my horizon. It's something that I never thought I would be doing, especially as a student.
GHS-TV is probably one of the most hands-on experiences a student will ever get in their lifetime.
Welcome back to Crosstalk. Nothing really has just the vibe that we have here.
Especially after you finished, you get a real rush of, wow, I just did that.
By the time a student graduates from Germantown High School, they will know pretty much every position there is, from producing to directing to on-air work.
You learn time management, you learn organization, you learn how to work with people, how to better communicate with people.
We put a lot on them, and they have to be able to have the responsibility and the knowledge to get everything that we ask them.
I had very little experience, so in the past 3 years, the skills that I've learned have absolutely exponentially grown.
The class has actually helped me figure out that I want to go to college for journalism.
When a student graduates, they are the best possible version of themselves that they can be.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow.
For more information about the Kappa program, visit ghskappa.com or call 755-7775. You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Welcome back to Crosstalk. About 18,000 young Americans enlist for active duty in the military every year. The Reserve Officer Training Corps, or ROTC, is one of the many routes young adults can take to go into the military. The ROTC is a college program offered at many universities to help prepare young adults become officers in the military. With us now is Lieutenant Colonel Curt Schultheis, Professor of Military Science for the Memphis Army ROTC Tigger Battalion. Lieutenant Colonel Schultheis, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me, and it's great to be back at Germantown High School.
Before we discuss the Memphis program, can you give us a little bit of brief history on ROTC?
So ROTC at the University of Memphis on the Army side started back in 1982. It was started out as an extension program of UT Martin, but became a host institute at University of Memphis back in 1982. And we're coming close to our 40 years in the next few years. So definitely looking forward to that. In addition to the University of Memphis, we also have partnership with Rhodes College, Lemono, and Christian Brothers University. So any student that goes to those schools can take ROTC through the University of Memphis.
So let's talk about the program at University of Memphis. What all does it entail?
So the program, the mission of our program on the Army side is to, one, recruit, educate, train, and commission officers of character in the Total Force Army. We commission folks in the National Guard, the Reserve, and on active duty every year.
How long has this program been at Memphis?
So, like I previously said, it started in 1982. So we're going on to our 40 years here in the next, by 2022. We'll have 40 years strong of Tiger Pride at the Army ROTC Battalion.
Well, in your opinion, how has the program evolved over the years?
Since I was a cadet, it has evolved quite a bit. I'll tell you, the young men and women that are in the program now, they are truly fantastic, and they do a lot of volunteer efforts throughout not only the program, but through the community as well. The efforts that they put in really will shape their abilities to be great young leaders in our military in the future.
Can you tell us about some of the requirements or tests that one may pass to be in ROTC?
So to be in the ROTC program, what we're really looking for is three things: scholarly ability, athletic ability, and leadership qualities. Coming out of high school, a strong GPA is definitely needed to get into the ROTC program, especially if you're looking for a scholarship. Athletic abilities, did you play on team sports, individual, recreation, competitive league sports? Those are another quality that we're really looking for, because you need to have athletic ability to pass the physical fitness test. And then the last one is leadership qualities. Did you serve in student government? Were you a host of a television program? Or did you have just a job and get promoted while you worked at that in that position? Those are things that we would say define leadership qualities of a young man or woman.
Well, what are some of the techniques that are taught in ROTC?
So the techniques really from the freshman and sophomore year, we're really looking at the basic soldier skills. What anybody would go through basic training is what we're really wanting to hone in on and train them on. As they become juniors and seniors is when we really are trying to refine that leadership quality. Instead of just doing the events, we're now teaching them how to lead the events. Because ultimately, when you become commissioned, you could be in the position of a platoon leader, meaning you could be leading about 30 to 40 young men and women. And so you have to know how to train and prepare and execute such events. So we're trying to train that up as they go through their junior year. And as their senior year, they're getting ready to become commissioned officers in the Army. So we're refining some of those other leadership skills, ethical, moral behaviors, and how to be a more empathetic leader to take care of folks that you may be in charge of one day.
Well, what are some of the classes that cadets may take over the 4 years in this program?
So the ROTC program, you can major in anything you want. That's one of the great things as well. Your degree is important, but we want folks from all different programs. As far as the ROTC, everyone will take whatever the military science course that's associated with what level they're at. We have a lab that we take so that we take them out to the field into different environments and try and get them to lead in those places. Also, physical training is a requirement. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we get up early in the morning and we do physical training.
Well, what are some of the benefits that students can receive from the ROTC program at Memphis?
Well, the one benefit that everybody looks for is a scholarship opportunity, and it's very competitive. We have a lot of folks that want to be a part of the program, but to have college paid for is definitely a benefit.
And how often does those in the military, in the ROTC program, go into the military?
So anybody who does complete the program is required to have a military service obligation. Most folks from the ROTC are going to have a 4-year commitment, but it's something that they want to do. They want to be a military leader. They want to. They know that going in. So it's a commitment that they've already predetermined that they want to be a part of.
Well, what do you hope that graduates take away from the ROTC program?
In my perspective, is really teamwork. What I try and teach my senior class right now is it's all about teamwork. Not one person's gonna be successful at the mission. Everyone has to have a part in it, and when they get together as a group, they do great. They really come together and they execute the mission at hand just phenomenally.
What are your plans for the future of the ROTC program at Memphis?
My plans are to continue to make it bigger and better. In my mind, we are the best program there is, and I want to keep making it better. We have some great individuals out there doing some phenomenal things, and I want to make it the best commissioning source that I possibly can.
Lieutenant Colonel Schultheis, thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Thank you once again.
We have to take a break. When we return, we'll hear about a high school program training tomorrow's leaders.
We have 4 major vocal ensembles at Germantown High School. There's a large chorale with about 50 to 60 students, a women's chorus, our chamber choir, which is an elite ensemble of 18 singers, and a contemporary a cappella group, which is about 16 singers.
It's really nice to be in a room full of people who share your passion and who want to learn and make every song as beautiful as it possibly can be.
I really try to instill in my students the importance of connecting with the literature, that they have to go outside of the box and actually understand what they're singing about.
Thank you.
This program has really pushed me. It's shown me a lot of my insecurities and how to grow past those.
Many times we'll gather around the piano to build that sense of camaraderie, to be able to hear each other better, to interact with each other and make music together.
Work together, hold that solid. Go.
Then we genuinely love music. We sing because we want to and not because our Mr. Hayner's telling us.
2 beats, you come in. 1 and 2.
Music empowers us to come together as a group. I feel like this generation has become so focused on me. And music is us, 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 us.
For more information about the Kappa program, visit GHS-Kappa.com or call 755-7775. You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Welcome back to Crosstalk. I'm Jamaia Chase. Each year, 274,000 high school students serve as JROTC cadets. The Junior Reserve Officers Training Corps, or JROTC, has been in the Shelby County Schools since the program began in 1919. It teaches students citizenship, leadership, and discipline. Here's a look at the program within SCS.
Attention.
Warrior strong.
Recite the JROTC Cadet Creed.
I am an Army Junior ROTC cadet. I will always conduct myself to bring credit to my family, country, school, and corps cadets. I am loyal and patriotic.
War Department realized that there's a necessity to begin to educate high school students on the global picture and the service to nation. That brought on the establishment of the Junior ROTC program. The first two programs established in Memphis in 1919 were Central High School and Memphis Technical High School.
Present arms.
It's the only course in the public schools that really teaches pure leadership.
Remember, leadership is not easy. I teach them how to be a leader, how to communicate, how to earn the respect of your peers. Here, it doesn't say giggling, it just says bell. Just put it there.
We want to prepare kids for any career that they want to. And of course, if they do seek to serve the nation, JROTC is an excellent program to prepare them for that.
One normal step, not one of those giant steps that you're not trying to keep up with them.
I'd always wanted to be in the military.
We do enhance students with the skills if they desire to go on to become soldiers or sailors. We do give them the additional skills that will make that transition. We're not a recruiting tool for the armed forces. We're strictly a leadership program.
That's what Junior ROTC is about. That's what makes it so unique.
We teach them what leadership is. We teach them the history of leadership.
It also teaches them about citizenship, responsibilities of citizenship, and sit there and take pride in being a U.S. citizen and pride in their country.
I am an Army Junior ROTC cadet. I will always conduct myself to bring credit to my family, country, school, and the Corps of Cadets.
Junior ROTC is available for 4 years.
If you take us for 2 years, it takes the place of lifetime wellness. If you take us for 3 years, it takes the place of U.S. government, which is a core class. And if you take us for 3 years, it also takes the place of finance, because we teach that too.
Take it off on the back, just squeeze it together a little bit. It tightens it up.
One of our strongest tools is the wearing of the uniform. This teaches the kids how to have respect for the uniform, how to have respect for the nation.
Make sure your beret is molded. Make sure you have the correct hairstyle to where you can put your beret on.
Some kids, when they first get into the program, they're like, oh, wow, you know, I don't like people telling me what to do.
Freshman year I come in, I didn't like it at all.
But after a while, some of the kids, you know, they get into the program, they understand it, and they enjoy it.
No, it was not that bad. It's actually pretty fun. Like right now, I'm on 4 teams, a captain on 1.
Second squad, attention.
This is an easy class. It's not hard to fail, but it's not super hard to pass either. If you know what you're doing and you want to be here and you actually put in the effort, you'll pass with flying colors.
I know with the Tennessee National Guard, they'll pay for everything. So we can find out. So that way you have more options if you're dead set on becoming a Marine.
If I had to describe the instructors, they're not just a regular teacher. They're someone with a mission, a passion to serve kids.
I'm a product of the JROTC myself. I graduated from Hillcrest High School. I was led 3. I did 3 years there in the ROTC program there. So I wanted to come back and give back to the program. I could have retired and stayed at home and did nothing, but I said I really wanted to do this.
Now you ready for that sergeant now, huh? Be in charge, huh? I'm loving it, and I've been teaching now for 16 years.
I feel like we're very successful here in Shelby County Schools.
They have like 178 school waiting lists, something along that line, maybe even more. Schools all across America want Junior ROTC.
It should be treated more like an honors program because of these leadership skills that they pick up from 9th through 12th grade. You know, it can really catapult them forward and they become an immediate impact in community, state, and the nation.
Thank you to all my guests who spoke with me today. On this Veterans Day, I hope you thank a veteran for their service to our country. For more information on our programming, please check us out on the web at GHS-TV.org, where we are streaming live 24 hours a day. You can also check us out on Facebook and Twitter. I'm Jamaia Chase. From all of us at GHS-TV, thank you for watching Crosstalk, and I hope to see you again.